teaching. And that's what we're going to look at today. So, in front of you, you've got a packet that's got the 7 issues of 7 topics of Catholic social teaching. The first one is life and dignity of the human person. And if I could have a volunteer from this table to read just that paragraph right below that on that page. Could someone read that out for us out loud?
The Catholic Church proclaims that human life is sacred and that the dignity of the human person is the foundation of a moral vision for society. This belief is the foundation of all principles of our social teaching. In our society, human life is under direct attack from abortion and euthanasia. Human life is threatened by cloning, embryonic stem cell research, and the use of the death penalty. The intentional targeting of civilians in war or terrorist attacks is always wrong. Catholic teaching calls on us to work to avoid war. Nations must protect the right of life by finding effective ways to prevent conflicts and resolve them by peaceful means. We believe that every person is precious and that people are more important than things, and that the measure of every institution is whether it threatens or enhances the life and dignity of the human person.
Okay, and so we're going to see a short 3-minute video on life and the dignity of the human person. This comes from Catholic Relief Services and the USCCB.
Children bear the image of their parents both physically and psychologically and spiritually. Representative, if you want, of their parents. So in a similar way, all of us children represent God, bear the likeness of God. So every human being, all have a purpose, a mission, they're part of God's plan.
At the root of our dignity is this right to life. And the right to life extends from conception to natural death. It applies to us across the whole of our existence. And so to have an ethic of life means at all times the Church is concerned for how people are doing at any given moment.
When we see people trying to justify treating other people in a certain way because they're so small, they're not born yet, they're not self-aware yet, their skin is another color, they're so disabled. Whenever we see people being spoken of more like objects, then we know that the principle of the radical equality of every human person is being violated.
The human race is a family. We're all children of God. And so we should learn that lesson from individual families, that there's no one who's expendable. Everyone is worthy of reverence and protection, but especially the weakest among us.
Our dignity also cries out for the freedom and the opportunity to become everything God intended us to be. So part of life, part of fulfilling life, part of serving life, is actually creating the opportunities for everyone to have the fullness of life.
And I think Catholic social teaching urges us to operate at both the individual and the global levels. Both the individual, who's in immediate need, to think of the corporal and spiritual voice of mercy. At the same time, we have to be attentive to more global, more societal violations of justice. There is systemic violence, there is systemic injustice. That has to be addressed too.
So it's not just the lawmakers, but national institutions, corporations have this obligation to affirm the principle of the right to life and dignity, and then to decide how their institution can go about it. On a personal level, it requires figuring out how you, and often this is the most effective level, at the one-on-one level, at the small group level, can make a difference. And in realizing those parts of human dignity that are in short supply, and that you have the wherewithal to do something about it.
All of the Church's social teaching, its understanding of family, of community life, of justice, and good governance, all of this comes back to the question, what will
next category, second area is as you can see, I was a liberal arts major. Second category for Catholic social teaching is call to family, community, and participation. Is there somebody at this table that could read that for us?
The person is not only sacred but also social. How we organize our society in economics and politics, in law and policy, directly affects human dignity and the capacity of individuals to grow in community. Marriage and family are the central social institutions that must be supported and strengthened, not undermined. We believe people have a right and a duty to participate in society, seeking together the common good and well-being of all, especially the poor and vulnerable.
Okay, thank you.
Dan, don't turn it up quite so loud.
Turn it down a little bit, sure.
God created us as people to be sacred, to worship Him, but also to be social beings, to love and to live in community and care for one another. Family is really the first school of communications. It's really the first place that we learn to love, to be loved, to give of ourselves, so that we're prepared to go out into a community and to serve other people.
I see families and their role as central to the life of society. We're nurtured in family, we come to birth in family, we find our purpose in family.
Society really begins with marriage and family. If family is broken, if marriage is broken, if our relationships there at the most basic level are broken, society really can't function as it should, at the service of others, with love for others, with compassion for others.
Community is rooted in our faith. From the very beginning, God Himself, who is community, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, at the core of the universe, is a relationship. It makes perfect sense that we as human beings were made to live in relationships rooted in love.
As parishes, we're called to engage in the community in which we live. We're not supposed to be bystanders or mere observers. Instead, we're supposed to get in there and live and listen and love the people that God has placed around us.
Most of us are not happy to simply be acted on. We want to act for ourselves, we want to act for others. And so participation isn't just saying you get to vote, although it includes that. It's saying we will equip you, we will give you access to the resources and the opportunity you need so that not only can you occasionally say something, but that you can come in and have an impact in the situation.
Within our family, we've really tried to emphasize our own little domestic church as part of the broader church. It means taking what we learn as people of faith and then putting it into practice, going out into community and being Christ's hands and feet to those people that we see that are in need.
Subsidiarity is one of those great Catholic words. It comes from the root subsidium, help.
Subsidiarity is allowing the different levels of society to do the job for which they were made. It doesn't mean that occasionally, when those institutions can't do their job, that they get help from larger institutions. But fundamentally, it's a recognition that society is an organic reality with different levels of authority, from the individual to the nuclear family to the government, the church, that all of these have a role to play in making a healthy life together for all of us.
We can appreciate how we have to be involved at different levels, responding to different needs. Not experts coming from the outside, but neighbors helping one another.
At the heart of reality, we're all made social beings. There's a modern myth that says we're all just autonomous individuals. It's just not how we experience life. Who of us would want to live without friendship? That's the fullness of who we are, because it's in relationship we can live love. And when we live love, then we have the joy of the gospel.
as people to be sacred, to worship Him, but also to be social beings, to love and to live in community and care for one another. Family is really the first school of communications. It's really the first place that we learn to love, to be loved, to give.
Over there. Can you help me do this? Okay, sorry about that, Paige. Third category is, for Catholic social teaching, is rights and responsibilities. Can someone from this table read for us?
Rights and responsibilities.
This paragraph? Okay, thanks.
The Catholic tradition teaches that human dignity can be protected and a healthy community can be achieved only if human rights are protected and responsibilities are met. Therefore, every person has a fundamental right to life and a right to those things required for human decency. Corresponding to these rights are duties and responsibilities to one another, to our families, and to the larger society.
Our human rights come out of human dignity. We're made in the image and likeness of God. That's where the dignity of the human person comes from. We all have a right to have a decent livelihood, but at the same time, we have a responsibility to contribute to society, to the common good.
The basic human rights in Catholic social teaching are most succinctly expressed in the papal encyclical Pacem Terris. And there, the foundation is the basic right to life that cannot be taken away.
We require life in order to have all of our other rights and in order to fulfill all our other responsibilities. We are required to have more than existence. Jesus promises us the abundant life.
Building on that basic right are all the super basic things that each of us need, like food and water and shelter and clothing.
Healthcare is another area where people have rights to medical procedures and medicine and the care of a doctor.
On top of the foundation of those sort of basic rights for survival, there are more sophisticated rights, like the right to participate in society.
A right to have a search for God and freedom of religion, to search for truth and to live in integrity with that respect.
For us, rights and responsibilities are reciprocal. We always have a responsibility to others and to the common good, and to see our work and resources as something that need to be used to build up society and to be shared with those who are in need.
That need is a call. It calls something out from us. What do we encounter in the communities where we are? Our kids' school, our neighborhood, our parish, and then in a larger sense, what are the needs in our region?
Human beings are wonderful creatures that have rights, but also that have agency and responsibility to help to shape their own destiny and the destinies of others in ways that reflect this basic dignity that God has given us. So advocacy is a really important way for us as Catholics to participate in the ordering of society. It's a way for us to ask the government to structure laws, procedures, policies in such a way that people are better able to attain their human rights and exercise their responsibilities.
We are born with others given to us to look after us, but then with our responsibility to look after others. It's huge. We are really supposed to think when we meet others, and they're supposed to think when they meet us. Here is another person in God's image. Here is a person just like me.